YouTubers! Mike Martin's here, Mike Martin's channel. Thanks for joining me on this housing crisis segment of my channel. And I got a really important article I want to share with you guys. And it's in response to Theresa May's announcement she made the other day. How, I'll just touch on it a bit here for you guys to see. So this is by Alphaville Financial Times. It's a really well-written article. It says, no, the housing crisis will not be solved by building more homes. And remember, guys, this whole supply and demand, they kept blaming supply and demand. I don't know if you remember about 6 to 8 months ago, I said, I read an article from the UK, from London, how the mayor of London saying, let's use up our green spaces and build. Let's build out of this problem. Now, housing prices are slumping in London more, and no one's buying them because the affordability is just not there, and people can't secure the financing, and that's becoming the major issue here. So, with great flourish, Theresa May last week announced that she will be lifting the borrower's cap, which constrains the local council's ability to finance new housing. We will fix this broken market and by building more homes, the Prime Minister said. Solving the housing crisis is the biggest domestic policy challenge of our generation. It doesn't make sense to stop councils from playing their part in solving it. So today, I can announce that they're scrapping the cap. No! This is what the article says now. No! In reality, councils, or anyone else for that matter, building more homes will do very little to address the fundamental problem in the housing market. And if you want to understand why, there's a book that explains it. There it is here, the book. The answer is financialization. Sorry. And it's not arbitration. According to Ryan Collins, the housing crisis needs to be understood primarily as a product of the banking system. That's the most important part right here. So that's what's been happening, guys. Commodities. Assets. What's happening? For starters, it's not just a British problem. This is a trend that has been gripping the developed countries across the world over the past decades. Well, no, it's the last 7 to 10 years, and it's gripping all English-speaking countries that have free markets and open to the open sector, open markets. Come on in and buy out our futures. Come on in and buy out our children's futures. Hey, buy my grandkids' futures out. Don't worry, we don't care. And that's what's been happening. And it goes right here into this problem here. 2 of the key ingredients are contemporary capitalist societies, private home ownership, and lightly regulated commercial banking system, not mutually compatible. He writes that instead create a self-reinforcing feedback cycle, right? So this goes into right here. This is very important right here. In the early 1980s, businesses lending equated for around 40% of the GDP. On average in advanced economies, while mortgage lending was only about 25%. By the time the financial crisis, mortgage lending had grown to 75% of GDP, while businesses lending have grown slightly to 45%. But why? It's because a lot of these countries' economies are backing their economies on housing, on real estate. That's pretty bad because they're not lending to support capital investment and to help fuel growth. And, I mean, there's lending on existing property, so nothing's being developed or created or exported. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, let's continue here. Breaking this cycle of radical banking reform, partially by changing their ownership structure, a shift of shareholder-driven banks to stakeholder-driven banks. So, right here. In short, housing crisis needs to be understood primarily as a product of the banking system, not a function of construction volumes. It represents a market failure, not a supply and demand imbalance. Thank you very much. And Mr. May and Mrs. May, more borrowing by councils will do little and probably nothing to address any of that. Why Can't You Afford a Home by Ryan Collins, published by Polity Books. Guys, check it out. I'll leave a link below to this. It's a really good article. I just got to the points of it. I just want to get to what I want to say. And the housing and supply issue was a myth. Housing versus supply, not enough demand. Too high demand, not enough supply on the market, and that was our problem. It's like the global warming scandal, right? Anyways, I'm not going to get in there to get my video flagged. Comment below. Let me know. Thanks for watching.